Hello guys, Omni here. Time for my second review in Sentient Toy Week. I followed up Child's Play earlier today with Annabelle Comes Home, pushing off Toy Story for its own day, and kind of keeping today kind of horror themed. With Annabelle Comes Home, if you haven't seen my reactions to the trailers leading up to this movie's release, I like and love the Conjuring universe a lot. The characters, the direction, the entities, all of it. Excluding a couple of entries like The Nun specifically, which were just terrible. I didn't enjoy that movie for being a movie. I enjoyed it for being a bad movie and picking it apart, dissecting it, and all the inconsistencies in that film. That was the best part of it for me. And I think this movie learned a little bit from The Nun going into it, because The Nun's main problem was being extremely predictable to the point that you could just count down to the jump scare. And that's the only kind of scares that The Nun had. Every scare in that movie was a jump scare. This film has jump scares. They're all going to. It doesn't nearly have as much. And the same in the way that I think they kind of know we were getting used to that tempo with the way they were setting things up in each scene, that they knew that going into this, and you can kind of tell that they know that and that you're expecting it. And there is that same tempo, but when you get towards the end of the measure, when the scare will typically happen, there's a remix and a shift. And it makes each one of these encounters a lot more interesting and easier to be engaged with, and much more effective too than The Nun. Some of them don't even expand or pan out. Some of them, nothing happens. Or some of them, there's a completely different approach that happens. And what I think this movie does very well is it's not centered around one entity. Annabelle really is just the headliner, when the thing we're here for, the thing the movie that really focuses around, is the entities that are summoned and called to it. In the trailer, they call Annabelle a beacon for other spirits. And when she is released from the friend of the babysitter who is there, which we see in the trailer, it's not a spoiler, where she's like, "What did you touch?" And she's just like, "Everything." She accidentally frees Annabelle, and Annabelle's presence also awakens a lot of spirits that are also trapped in the relic room of the Warrens in their home. And there's maybe 4 or 5 that get some prominent screen time, and could even be set up for the spin-offs of their own. There's a lot of story involved for what they could do with them that would be really interesting. One of them would also be completely different culture if they go with if they dive into the backstory, the samurai armor that is also in there, which has a really great moment in this movie that I'm also not going to spoil. There's no spoilers in my reviews, so don't worry about that. And I would really love for them to explore that. That would definitely shake things up and mix things up in a good way if done well and respectfully, if they explored that in another movie. There's a couple of other entities in here as well, but I think the shining part of this film is the same reason I like a lot of the films in this Conjuring universe, and that's the characters. Now, the way the plot gets moving is a little forced until you kind of know what's happening. The friend of the babysitter, just has a personal investment in being there. And once you understand it, you kind of you get why this is happening. You get why she made these decisions, or you get why this is all kind of progressing the way it does. It does feel really rushed though in the first act, but in the second act is when things start to get fun, start to get interesting, into the third act where things just kind of go crazy. I think after you get out of the initial setup of the film, it really takes off. I've seen some people compare it to The Nun in a way that this is barely better. I'm not going to tell you what you like, but I'm just telling you how I feel about it personally. This is definitely not the best entry in the universe by any means, but I think it's getting ragged on a little harder than that, but mostly because I think we're starting to get a little saturated with these films. I think this, if my math is right, this is the 9th movie in the Conjuring universe. So, after a while, you get used to the formula, but what I really enjoyed about this movie was the characters. I really liked the babysitter. I really liked the friend once you get her motivations. And The daughter, Ed and Lorraine's daughter, was a very captivating and really tragic kind of exploration of what she's going through, what it means to be part of this family and have these gifts and how to use them. And it really tugs at your heartstrings in a lot of moments. At least for me, I really felt myself invested in the characters. I think that's what a horror movie should do, is invest you in the protagonist, invest you in the characters that you're following. And I see too many horror movies that are just really about the violence. They're only about the killer. There's little to no exploration of the characters that you're following. You're just there to see them get slaughtered, killed, or whatever. And for me, that just doesn't work, and it doesn't get me involved or invested in the story. You know, I'm definitely one that also enjoys just some dumb, senseless violence here and there. But for me, what I want out of a horror movie is to actually care about our protagonist, because when you don't fear for them, it's harder for yourself to be afraid. At least for me, when I'm watching a horror movie, when I'm not like wondering, oh man, are they going to make it out? Are they going to get out of this? Or not wanting a character to die or something like that. When you are actually concerned for the people you're watching on the screen, I think that's when a horror movie elevates itself a little bit more than your standard stab and gore kind of flick. And you know, that's what I think this franchise does really well, is building characters that are not just one-note cardboard cutouts that you have in every horror movie cliche that's just there to get stabbed or killed or axed off. And that's really the reason I come back to this. I love the charisma of the characters. I love the story, the characters themselves. They have personalities. They each have their own backstory. And it helps you care about what's happening in the movie. That's what I like about these. Is this the best Conjuring film? No. Is this the worst one? By no means. Not in my book. I think this is a very satisfying film. I really had a good time watching it. So if you're a fan of the franchise, I definitely recommend checking it out. If you're a fan of horror, I definitely recommend checking it out as well. I think it's a solid film. I personally don't understand the reactions that have heard from it, but movies and art are subjective and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and this is mine. I think you should see it. It's worth the watch to me. If you're not sure, I would definitely wait until it's on like a matinee, get it at a decreased price, or at least check it out when it's out on DVD or on streaming or whatever. I had a good time watching this, and I would recommend it. I'd probably give the movie about a 7 or a B minus, C plus kind of territory. But yeah, but I'm going to pass this off to you guys. Have you seen Annabelle Comes Home? Are you a fan of the Conjuring universe? What are your thoughts and opinions about this film or any of the other films in this franchise? Let me know in the comments below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. And if you want to support the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, make sure to let me know in the comments what you didn't like. Anyway, guys, that is all for now, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.